The New York game is what I'm talking about. I built from scratch.
If I may, have you ever considered making the soup from scratch?
Good news is, we're not starting from scratch.
Welcome to Talk Word. Today, we're going to dig into a phrase you've probably heard a million times. In the kitchen, at the office, maybe even when you're talking about your own big goals. It's a phrase that sounds so simple, right? From scratch. But its story? Well, that's anything but simple.
So let's picture this. You've got a craving for cake. Are you reaching for that box mix? You know the one, where you just add a little water, a little oil, and bam, you're done. Or do you pull out the real deal? The flour, the sugar, the eggs, and measure everything out yourself? That second way, that's what we call baking from scratch. But what does that really mean? And where on earth did we get a phrase like that?
Okay, so let's get the official definition out of the way. To do something from scratch means you are starting from the absolute rock-bottom beginning. You're using the most basic, raw materials, no shortcuts, no pre-made kits, no half-finished parts. It's all you. But here's the twist. The origin of this phrase has absolutely nothing to do with baking.
To find the real story, we have to ditch the kitchen and travel back in time to a racetrack. Yeah, a racetrack. This is where things get really cool, because the original meaning gives the phrase all of its power.
Isn't this fascinating? Before they had all the fancy starting blocks and equipment we have today, officials would literally just take a stick and scratch a line in the dirt. That was it. That was the starting line, the scratch. Every single runner had to put their toes right on that line. This meant everyone started from the exact same point. No head starts, no advantages. To start from the scratch was the definition of a fair race.
And this is exactly how language works its magic. This idea of starting from a basic, equal point, that literal line in the dirt, it was just too good to stay on the racetrack. It jumped into our everyday conversations and became this perfect metaphor for starting any project from its most fundamental parts.
Which of course brings us right back to that cake. Because honestly, the number one place you're going to hear this phrase today is probably when someone's talking about food. And this just lays it out so perfectly, doesn't it? On the left, you've got your basic ingredients. Each one is a fundamental piece, just like those runners at the starting line. But on the right, that box mix is a shortcut. It's a pre-made part that gives you a massive head start. So yeah, the mix is easier, but making it from scratch, well, that means you built the whole thing from the ground up.
But this phrase is so much bigger than just baking. It's gone from the racetrack, through the kitchen, and all the way into the world of big business and technology.
You hear this all the time, right? When someone builds a company from scratch, it means they didn't just buy a business that was already running. They started with nothing but an idea, probably in a garage or at a kitchen table. That garage, that's their scratch line. They started with no advantage, just their own hard work and the most basic resources.
And it's the exact same idea in the tech world. A programmer can use a template, which is kind of like a website in a box, a shortcut. But when they code a website from scratch, it means they opened a completely blank document and wrote every single line of code themselves, using nothing but the basic programming language.
Okay, so now you know the whole story, from the line in the dirt to the line of code. So how can you start using this phrase like a pro?
And what's so great about this phrase is you can apply it to just about anything. You can cook a meal from scratch. You can build furniture from scratch instead of buying one of those flat pack boxes. You can even learn a new skill from scratch, like a language or a musical instrument. It just means you're starting at lesson 1 with zero experience. You're at the starting line.
So think about it for a second. What's something you want to do from the very, very beginning? Go ahead, fill in that blank. I want to learn how to paint from scratch. Or I want to learn how to speak Japanese from scratch. It's just a fantastic way to talk about your own ambitions.
Every single word and phrase we use has a story, like this one hidden inside it. A journey from something literal, like a line in the dirt, to a powerful idea we use every day. And, understanding those stories, that's really the key to getting a feel for the language.
So if you enjoyed this explainer and you want to uncover more of these hidden stories, you should definitely check out the Talk Word app. You can look up any English word and get a clear podcast-style explanation just like this one. Thanks so much for listening, and remember to stay curious about words.